Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the last board meeting of the summer. I think, what, in about 3 hours?
Yeah, and 29.
10:29. Summer's over. Just a reminder, there's emergencies out the back door. To your car. Please don't leave it until so advised by emergency service personnel. In fact, we're smoking out of the building when you do it. Board minutes.
Good evening, everybody. Just want approval tonight of the board meeting minutes of September 8th, 2014.
Motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Motion.
Second. Any deletions, changes, additions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be doing the treasurer's report this evening. Excuse me, the top 5 bills for the period, the bills for the period total $521,777.50. Top 5 bills, New York State Employee Health, $111,700.12, which is our monthly premium. Hilger Skidmore, $57,964.79 for the quarterly insurance premium. State Insurance Fund, $52,569.24 for workers' compensation. Eastern Resources Recycling, $14,033.62, landfill charges. And Site Specialists, $8,727, benches for the bid grant. If I can have approval, please.
Motion to accept and present. Motion. Second.
Second.
Any questions, additions? All in favor?
Aye.
And just one other item for the general fund to loan the community development fund, $17,366.98.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any other cash balances available to you?
Correct.
Mr. Krieger.
Thank you, Mayor Pontieri. You're up. It's my pleasure to give a presentation tonight that I think a lot of people have been waiting for. I was hoping that there would be more people from the chamber here, but I appreciate anybody who's come out this evening. As many of you know, the parking meters will be going into the and you guys have a copy of this, right? So,
Yes.
okay. Parking meters will be going to the parking lots shortly, hopefully within the next month or so. I just want to go over some things with everybody before we get started with the posters here. That the total parking spaces in the downtown business district, not counting Briarcliff or the courthouse or the railroad station, so that's not included, which we know get used from time to time. But these are only the village municipal lots. We have 1960. Do we have another? Is there another easel in there, Bill? I'm sorry. I apologize. We want to show one of these. Oh, geez, you just do them there. No, it's one. It's just that they look right there. We have 1,964 parking meters, parking spaces. That's marked parking spaces in the downtown business district. That includes street parking and lot parking. Now again, those are village-owned marked spaces. There are a number of on-street parking spaces, as we know, especially during our Live After 5, that people park on Jane Avenue and Ocean Avenue, and those are not counted in here. So
These are all the ones that were probably built in 1964.
probably most of them were.
The BUD Business Use District.
That's right. They probably were.
Downtown merchants, including Mr. Priscilla.
Yes, that's right. Now, I just want to get a demonstration here. This one basically demonstrates that. It would be this one, Matt? That's basically our inventory here in the village. Okay, so we have right here Church Street, Academy Street, Terry Street West, Terry Street East, another Terry Street South lot here, the one all the way on the west end of town, east end of town, by, well, what's in there, Rainbow Ranch or Rainbow, whatever, Carvel. Oak Street, this is behind by your place. Firehouse, which is limited space in there, but there is space in there. And these spaces were not counted on that list. Anything that was limited or restricted were not counted. We have behind Reese's here, that lot there. This is the new lot that Tritech built on the corner of Jennings and Lake Street. And this is the parking within New Village, which was included. So the total is 1,964 spaces. The plan is, that on-street metered will be 213, because what we've found here is that the meters on the east end of town are not profitable at all. They're below average. I'm going to tell you, the average east of Maple is $705 a month. The average west of Maple is $4,746 a month. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those meters out. It's going to go back to free parking, and we're going to move some of the meters onto Main Street west of Maple to make it more convenient for people parking. Because what we found was there were a few gaps on the way, especially between budget buy and sell and the library, which we've got a couple complaints. So we're going to put a new meter in there, and then we're going to put another meter in Oak Street, exiting by the back there by the Elks Club. We'll probably put another one in Terry Street and probably another one on Church Street. So we'll be able to accommodate and make it easier for people to get to the meters. So, you know, we're going to lose a little bit of income on Main Street, but I think we're going to gain it in making it convenient for people because we've had the request. So that's our parking. So on street currently is 242. It's going to drop down to 213. And the parking lot meters, there's going to be 282 spaces metered in the lots. Now, if you're a Village of Patchogue resident, the most important thing you're going to take from this meeting is that you should get your resident parking sticker, because in the parking lots, Village residents park for free all the time. Okay? So, okay. Linda, in the advance, if we don't stress that, if anybody asks you if they're a resident, they should get their parking sticker as soon as possible. Okay?
Excuse me, Jack?
Yes.
I'm sorry. We have given a record number
Good.
of resident parking in the clerk's office.
We want to make
We had
sure.
to order another 1,000.
And then,
Where's that?
if a resident gets a ticket, Brian, can they present, with the prosecutor, you know, say, I'm a Village resident, I just didn't have my sticker? Is that?
Well, you have to have it together.
Okay, they have to have the sticker on their car, so that's very important. We're going to have signage all over the lots. So this is our inventory. Any questions so far with the inventory? Okay. Now, again, let's look at this. All right, total parking spaces, 1,964, give or take a few. Parking lot spaces, we have 1,539 parking lot spaces. On-street parking spaces total, we have 425. All right. Total parking spaces free, 1,469. Total parking spaces meter, 495. Percentage meter parking, 25%. Now, if you look here, we have parking lot meters, 282. Effective Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. Daytime parking is free in all the lots. So anybody comes in, they park for free all day. Okay, there's no time limit on these. Okay. And again, Patchogue residents park for free. On-street, it's a total 213, effective Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 a.m., and it's going to go up from a 90-minute limit to a 2-hour limit. At night, there's park as long as you want. We got the $5, you can park all night. So that accommodates people who are going to the theater, people who are going to events at, Elks Club or any other place, or just a restaurant. If you're going to go and you're going to stay there for 3 or 4 hours, you can park there. You're not going to get a ticket if you're over 2 hours. So we're going to be very liberal about that. Okay. Now let's just take a look at any questions yet about that? Okay. And the meter fees are going to be the same on Main Street as they are in the parking lot. So it's 50 cents an hour on Main Street, 50 cents an hour in the parking lots. You have a question, Claire? Okay.
Sounds great to me.
Okay, let's look at...
I'm sorry, in the parking lot, will the same $5 all night
Yes,
thing
yes,
also be available?
yes. Let's look at Terry Street first. Okay, Terry Street. Now, oh no, that's Church Street. Terry Street. Okay. Terry Street. Okay. Now this is Terry Street East. Can everybody see this? This is the Terry Street East lot. I'll put this over here. Okay? I'm sorry, Terry Street West lot. Here's the library. Here's the mini mall. That's your place, Artie. And art space is over here. These spaces here at night will be metered. Okay? During the daytime, these spaces are going to be 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and that's going to go on probably till 9 o'clock. That's going to accommodate the Chinese restaurants, the library, all the places that have, quick pickup and, somebody's dropping off. So they'll be able to do that here. So this is going to be limited parking during the day, as we have around the village currently, which seems to be working okay. And in the middle here, of course, is going to be metered parking. Now, within these spaces here, there's going to be no parking until 10 a.m. because we still want to keep people out of here early in the morning, so we want to push the employee parking to the back. And this lot is going to be completely free. This is the lot that's just west of this, just east of this. And this is going to be completely free 24 hours a day. Unlimited parking. Again, no parking in the front rows until 10 a.m. So that's going to give, try to get people, and David, as we've spoken, we want to educate the retail and the restaurants to keep your employees to the back. This is 91 metered, 262 free. That's combined, these two. 262. Now there's about another 170 on the other side. Probably between that one and the one across the street, there's about 200 spaces. Plus you have Terry Street, which is all free parking, and Taylor Lane, which includes probably about 35, 40 spaces. So that's all free parking. Any questions about Terry Street?
I
Yes.
just want to make sure that I understand. So it's going to be metered in the alcove in the first row,
Yes.
but not until 5,
Right.
with the exception of right immediately by the buildings will be 15:30 until maybe 9.
9 o'clock, yeah.
And then the 10 a.m. is it the whole lot or just the green part?
It's going to be all this area. No parking until 10 a.m., all the green parts.
And then the rest is
It's
whatever?
free for everybody, because that's what we're trying to get employees. So they
Yeah,
can
no,
park
that's
there all
fine.
day, all night, whatever they like. Any other questions? Okay, that's Terry Street. Let's go to Church Street, which is probably, Church Street is probably our most stressed parking lot at this point, because the concentration of restaurants and the Emporium create a parking issue here. Now, here is the Emporium, Paradise Tuxedos, Hoptron Brewery here, Gino's Pizza up here, and Church Street down here, okay? This one, we have 100 free parking and 101 metered parking at night. So again, we want to push, again, under these trees is parking. So you can't see it here, but there is parking here. So we want to push again the employees down this way and the employees at night over to Terry Street. Because it's a fairly easy walk for somebody to go from here to Terry Street. It's not that far. We've all walked that way. Again, no parking till 10 a.m. Strictly enforced, because the no parking till 10 a.m. is very easy to enforce. Our person goes there at 9:30, looks there, and whatever cars are parked there, get a ticket. And we're going to strictly enforce these things, okay? Because if we don't enforce it, it will not work. Okay? So this is, right here will be the same situation as during the daytime. It's going to be 15, 30-minute loading areas so the pizzerias and all those people can get there. Also, there are a number of 15-minute and 30-minute spaces sprinkled throughout. These are currently 15 and 30-minute spaces, which will continue to be that way. And then at night, this will all be free parking for everybody. Okay? Any questions on Church Street? Yes.
Yeah, down there where you said behind the trees,
Yeah.
aren't quite a few of those spots limited just to parking by permit for the
Over
people?
here, over in this area. Not over here.
There's nothing over there?
Nothing over there. It's just down in this
That's
space here.
last row.
It's that last row across from the Emporium, south of the Emporium. There's like 6 spaces over there. Yeah.
I thought there were,
No, and on that area there is, you could probably, I think it's right here, there's a village right-of-way here. A consideration is to take the dumpsters out of the parking lot, put them into this right-of-way. So then we will gain, 5 or 6 more spaces. So that could be a situation. So I remember when we spoke a while ago about the Methodist Church and
I'm
parking.
concerned about the church.
So there's not a problem there unless you're doing something at night.
Which
and,
you do.
But this lot is probably usually filled up at night anyway. But there's all this free parking
I mean,
here.
like in December, we do the Messiah,
Yeah.
but that's on a Sunday.
Well, and we're going to have, during Christmas holiday season, there's going to be, the meter's going to be bagged and people won't have to pay during the holiday season to help promote, yes.
There's only one row of parking under those trees.
Yes,
And
correct.
there's one row that's visible.
Yes.
Yes. So you've only got 2 rows that are free, and you've
Mhm.
got 1, 2, 3 plus that are not.
Yes.
So how is that 50-50?
No, it's 100 here, and then you got 1 row here, 1 row here, you got this, you've got this, and it all equals up to 101.
And that's half and half?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have one question.
Yes.
In regards to not being able to park at 10, if we have a business and we have clients coming in before then and the other spots are taken, I can't ask them to go park in another parking lot.
We're hoping that employees.
It won't be
Well,
employees.
what we'll do is we won't make this before 10, just this open here, so you'll have 1, 2, 3 rows that people can park before 10. Make it
So
convenient.
what rows was that?
So we'll take this one, and this one, and create
Before 10?
before 10. So instead of your people walking from here, they'll have to walk from here. Where are they going to? Which business?
Right behind Gino's Pizza.
Okay, so right back here.
Yeah.
So they'll have to walk another 40 feet.
Okay, so
Okay.
if they're parking in that 3rd row from the back,
Mhm.
before 10 o'clock, they'll be all right.
We'll adjust it,
Okay.
okay? And again, this plan is not, after tonight, if somebody comes to me with a suggestion or whatever, we'll talk about it, okay? It's not like this is it. This is the plan, this is what we want to do, and this is what I think we're going to do. Okay.
I think the plan is really a work in progress.
Yes, it has been a work in progress, and thanks to Dave Kennedy and the Parking Committee, which I just wanted to mention again, that we worked with Dave Kennedy and some people from the Chamber of Commerce, and we went back and forth to come up with this plan. And I think, and Dave, I think we worked very well together, and it worked out fine. Okay, Oak Street. 226 free spaces, all over here, okay? 90 metered right here at night, okay? During the day, free parking all across.
Any restrictions on the opening, is it a 10 a.m.?
This is going to be 10 a.m., we're going to have areas here 10 a.m. Again, here, is 30 minutes, 15 minutes, because we've got the bank there, we've got the coffee shop, we've got people coming in and out there. This over here this has never been 10 a.m., so we're gonna keep this open to, you know, people come in early, employees can park here. This area and this area will be no parking before 10 a.m. This will be free parking throughout. This area will again be 30-minute. We have some handicap spaces in here, so it'll be 30-minute and 15-minute spaces here for everybody. This is to accommodate Goldberg's and the Chinese restaurant across the street, so everybody will be able to come in and out. Okay, and all these limited spaces are going to be strictly enforced. So if somebody comes into your business and says, "I parked in the 15-minute space," but they don't enforce it, make sure you tell them they do enforce it, because we will enforce it. Again, the lot's over here. How's it working out for you back there?
The 2 hours worked out.
Okay, so
Because we need to transfer.
right. So those are going to. This whole area is going to stay as it is. You may have, excuse me. You may have some employees now at night wanting to park over there, but that doesn't affect your business on a Friday or Saturday night. Okay.
It's the daytime employees, as long as they, you know.
Yeah.
That should, you know, as long as, well, like you said, they're gonna start enforcing it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, we enforce it back by you guys, and we've been enforcing it to the chagrin of a lot of people who park there and a lot of store owners, but the only way it can work is if you could, yes.
Before you leave that,
Yeah.
that entire thing
Mhm.
is free parking during the day.
Yes.
And if I can go back to the map behind you,
Mhm.
the green area is not free parking during the day.
Yes, all the green areas are free parking during the day.
Oh, okay, all right.
Everything that's green, everything that's metered in the parking lots are free all day,
Until 5.
till 5 o'clock. And our guys aren't gonna be sitting there at 5 o'clock looking at their watch and then, all right, 5 o'clock, let's go out there and ticket people. No, we're not gonna do that.
The time change, like on Main Street, is it 50 cents and at 6 o'clock it kicks up, right? Payment,
Is that what it is now? I think, yes, yes.
right? So is it going the lot at 5
No,
o'clock?
it's gonna stay the same.
I was not, okay,
Yeah.
so that won't go, I guess.
Yeah,
The Jack?
Yes.
At 5, the Main Street goes to.
yes, yeah. Main Street goes up.
Right, and then, but the rollers stay just the same.
Right, everything stays the same.
So then Main Street is, you have to pay $5 there?
No, you don't have to pay $5
It's $1
if you
an
don't
hour
want
for
to.
parking the night.
Okay, the
Yeah.
problem with those meters are, it does not, at the last we tried it,
Mhm,
if you go to dinner at 5:30
mhm.
and you go to put in for an hour,
Right,
it will accept up to one
half hour, right. Because that's because we started at 6. Now we're moving it down to start at 5. So at 5 o'clock now, you'll be able to park all night. So
Oh,
we
that's
want,
better.
yeah, we wanted to get it early because
Yeah,
we,
because that was a really big.
yes, yeah, we know that, yeah. And we've already got those things, they're being programmed now, yes.
Jack, how will you handle the theater when they're having affairs? Where will the people park
Well-
without getting tickets?
Okay,
Now, will they have to pay coming into Patchogue?
well,
Let's say they, you know.
at night, yeah, if they want to park here, it's paid. Here, it's free.
I mean, will that be able to handle people coming from out of town
Well,
without getting tickets? How will you?
well, actually, you know, if we have a show at the theater, say that's packed, 1,000
You
people,
know, we do.
it can't handle it now. Okay, people park in different lots, they go into your lot back there. I think it's probably gonna be the same way, because if it's a Friday night, by the time the theater gets, unless somebody's coming for dinner, by the time the theater goes 7:30, 8 o'clock, these spaces are already full, from Parabel and Public House and Gaio. Yeah, and whatever new restaurants come around, this is already full. I don't see a change in there or an inconvenience to the theater people. And if the theater people find a parking space in there and they want to, pay for a space, they can pay for a space. Otherwise, they have to park here or across the street or on Terry Street, just the same. I don't think it's going to change that at all. Any questions so far? Yes.
So if someone's shopping at, say, 4:15,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not done by 5 o'clock,
Okay.
they've got to go outside
Uh,
and put money in the meter, and
yes.
then go back in wherever they want to shop.
Yes.
Or from their smartphone.
Or from their smartphone, or they can do all
You're
that.
very optimistic.
Well, People have been doing it, so,
That's what I.
you know, yeah. It, I know it's a,
Jack,
yes.
Jack, they can get 2 hours at 4:15. They can put three.
No, because at 4:15, it goes,
Kicks over.
it kicks over.
Well, I'm in a
Yeah.
space. I initiated my,
Mhm.
I put my money in 4:15. I can't get 2 hours.
No.
Oh, he's talking about it, he's a free spot.
It's free
Yeah.
at 4:15.
Yeah,
He said
4:15
free
is
spot
free.
at 4:15.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
Okay, let's just go over this a little bit more, and I want to talk about some other things here. And I'll be quick now. So 25% of the spaces at night will be metered. During the day, it's only 10% of this is metered. So if somebody comes into Patchogue and doesn't want to pay for parking, they can certainly not pay for parking. We're not forcing anybody to park, we're not saying you.
How do you distinguish between where you pay and where you don't pay?
The spots are numbered, and there'll be signs in the lots.
I haven't
There'll be signs.
experienced that. On Main Street,
Mhm.
I noticed they're all numbered.
Yes.
Well, how do you know which one is free? Like, I wanted to go to the bank,
Mhm.
and
Well, you look at the sign. Whenever there's a 15-minute free spot, there's a sign at that spot. So it'll say, 15-minute free parking, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
there's a
What?
sign there.
Sign right on that.
Not on the ground.
Right on that space up in front, yeah. Like in front of, for instance, Goldberg's. There's, I think, 2 15-minute spots. In front of Roast, there's a 15-minute spot. In front of the Brick House, there's a 15-minute spot. In front of Gino's Pizza, there's 15-minute spots. So we tried to put them in the areas where we see more turnover business. You know, somebody's running in to pick up something or something like that. So, yes.
So in the 15-minute spots, let's say somebody is going to be there a half hour, will they then pay something for the extra time?
No.
Okay, so you have to be out of there in 15
You have to
minutes?
be out there in
or you
15
get a
minutes.
ticket? Okay.
And our enforcement officers, as they go down the street, when they pass a 15-minute spot, they mark the tire. So they know that if somebody's been there and they come back and they see, you know, a half hour later and the person's still there, they're going to get a violation. We need to have those turnover, otherwise your Chinese restaurant and Goldberg's, they'll never have parking spaces in front. But if you look at those spaces during the day, there's a turnover of spaces in those spaces. Yes.
The library spaces, they're
Yes.
15 minutes?
There's some
30 minutes?
15 minutes in the back, yeah. And I believe there's 1 or 2 in the front that we put in there.
Who gets in and out of the library in 15 minutes?
If you're going to drop off a book
If
or
you're dropping a
something, yeah.
book, if
Yeah.
you're looking for a book,
Yeah, well, you don't park in a 15-minute
You go- you
space.
go to an-
You go to a free
Okay,
space, or you pay for a space. So there's a lot of options for people. It's not, they're not coming into Patchogue and saying, oh my God, there's no, they charge me for parking everywhere. It's only 10% during the day. Again, and let me just talk about the revenue now. Everybody wants to know how much money these meters are making. The total revenue for January to August, and of course January and February were a little slow months, but in March it picked up to be more. We've made $105,312 just on revenue from the meters. Okay, that doesn't count violations. I don't have a number for violations, I'm sorry. The average per month is $13,164. Okay. The projected 2014 revenue is a little over 157, close to $158,000, which is right on target with what we predicted when we started this.
And how much did it cost you to implement this? The salaries and
well,
insurance and,
This,
how does that offset that 100?
it offsets the 100 because we're only talking about one salary here. Even though we have 2 meter officers, one was an addition, okay? So we got to bring another one in there, which covers their salary and more, and covers so far the cost of the lease. And we should,
By the end of the year, we'll cover the lease cost.
yeah, by the end of the year, we'll cover the lease cost of the machines, and we're done with that, paying for the machines. So, which is beyond our expectations. Now,
paying for the machines for the year,
no, for the,
for the entire,
Yes.
for the 5-year lease?
yes,
Okay.
right, Paul?
No.
Oh, it's just the year.
Just for the year?
Just the year, I'm
Okay.
sorry, just the year, okay? Now, where was I? The Long Island Railroad meters, just to let you all know, that they average about $2,800 a month. And this year we've made $22,000 on the railroad parking lot, okay?
They only started in April.
Yeah, and they only start, exactly. So total Long Island Railroad and on-street parking is $128,000. Now we project that the parking lots should, we should make a little bit less than what we make on the street, because people aren't, it's not an all-day thing. So I think that, what we should project from the meters on Main Street and the parking lot, probably close to around $280,000 to $300,000 a year. That's our projected income from that.
Jack, years ago, we had meters on Main Street, and I would see the guy going down picking up the money out of the machines. I haven't witnessed any of that. How's that money being picked up out of the machines?
The money is,
Just one man does
as
that?
one guy, you pull out a drawer. That's
On
all.
everyone?
Yeah, yeah. There's no bags or anything. They drive down the street, and what happens is on their laptop, it says, meter nearly full. They go to that meter, they pull a drawer out with money in it, they put another drawer in, they take that drawer to,
Yeah, and
Village Hall?
it's sealed, the drawer itself
Yeah.
is sealed, can't be
Yeah.
opened in the car,
Mhm.
have to have a code. And the big thing is that, as Jack said, Anne Marie is told, and Jim Burbridge is told when the meter needs to be emptied, when it needs paper, if it's not operating, so it really is a pretty effective system.
yeah.
But this one gentleman does all of this now.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm
Yes.
just curious, I don't know if you have an answer for this, but percentage-wise, what's the percentage in those meters in reference to cash as opposed to credit cards?
We're not getting a lot of credit cards.
So you still get a lot.
We're finding we're getting a lot of cash.
I figured
And
you
debit
thought
cards.
you
Debit
only
cards
had
we're getting.
with that
Good.
generation.
Yeah, but when you use a credit card, there's a fee attached to that.
Oh,
So, and most people now have debit cards and they're using debit cards instead of, we're finding an increase in people using their smartphones. They're getting used to that, which is a great thing, because if you are at night, you're sitting in a restaurant, it gives you an alarm that says your meter is going to be expired in 10 minutes. It tells you that, and you can just go, all right, I want to add another 2 hours in there. And you can do it right at your table or in the store or whatever you like.
I noticed Gail is looking at her smartphone saying that she would do
Yeah,
that.
that's what we do.
No, he does it all the
Yeah.
time.
Do you use it,
That's
George?
the only way to do it.
George, you use it?
Yeah.
And it's pretty simple? Or?
Oh, yeah.
I can't figure out the machines. I
Yeah,
just use it.
well, there you go.
I can't figure out that.
Yeah. So, but you've got more people who are doing that. It's a much more convenient way to do it, and it's working out very well for us. And any other questions? Yes.
How much money before the draw is full? Do you have any idea?
No.
Is there any concern about somebody emptying those drawers?
They can't.
No, but I'm
Oh,
not.
from the street?
No,
Somebody
no,
breaking
no,
into
no,
machines?
but somebody is taking out the drawers. Somebody could stick them up.
Yeah, well, it could happen if, like in the old days when they used to have a bag, which probably was even a little, Yeah, I know, my father was parking commissioner back then.
So what,
and
I
I
mean,
know
is
the
there,
stories.
how would, there isn't any way to.
No, but I
that's
mean,
just-
the money inside that drawer is, you're not talking thousands and
That's
thousands
why I
of
was
dollars.
asking.
You're talking nickels and dimes.
Okay, that's
You know,
why I was
it's not
asking how
It's
much
not a
is being
whole lot
drawn.
of money.
Right.
I mean, if somebody came up to one of our officers with a gun and said, give me the drawer, I expect that officer to say, here, go ahead.
Here's the drawer.
I hope you have a sledgehammer, because you can't just open them up.
Jack,
Yes.
could you control the frustrations of the people standing in line to pay that ticket? How can we expedite that on the day? Because I experienced one day coming here,
Mhm.
and they were all the way outside.
Dave,
And I got roughed up just coming up the steps.
Well, that wasn't because of that, I'm sure.
I said, I'm not taking this abuse.
two things. Why do you think I don't have my picture up yet? The second is what they're starting to do now is by alphabet, is bring them into two groups to be able to lessen the numbers. And
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see over a period of time. But I think that as the meters, like we add this additional meter in the middle of the block, we take a look around and see whether maybe other spaces may have issues. I think some of the signage needs to be worked on. I think hopefully those are the numbers you want to see drop, the violations.
We continually get suggestions, I'm going to call them suggestions, from residents who've gotten tickets. And what I do is I get those suggestions from Scott Love, who's our meter officer, and I ask him, so is this realistic? Is this something we can change? And we discuss it, and then our signs have changed over time, trying to help people. We've added more signs. The one sign we added on most is basically meters enforced, strictly enforced. We want people to understand that you can't park there unless you're going to pay, all right? Because we get a lot of people say, well, I didn't think you would have parking meters working at night. Well, it says it on the sign. Well, in New York City or someplace else, they don't make you pay at night. This isn't New York City, or this isn't someplace else. This is us. And our signs are very specific. In fact, sometimes I think we have too many signs. But you know what? When we get somebody who says, well, you need to say and enforce it, so we put the little enforcement signs on it. We're doing everything we can to try to make it clearer for people. And what we're finding is the violations are slowly going away. If you get one ticket in the village, and next time you come here, you're going to pay. You're just not going to. And when people say, what can we do to avoid getting a ticket in the village? And I tell them, put money in the meter or park free. I don't want to be cold about it, but that's really it. Yes?
Is there a universal sign that the village has given out regarding informing a customer when they're walking in the door? I know everybody kind of has a handwritten sign.
No, well, if you look at this, here's our little guy, our little meter guy.
David, you have them?
Oh, yes. What is your business? I'm sorry.
It's independent adjustment company.
Okay, do you have one of those stickers?
No.
Okay. Village businesses are now putting these stickers on their windows. If you don't have one, get one.
Thank you.
Because this is no, and it says up there, feed me, what's it say on yours there?
It says stop before you shop.
Yeah, yeah. So we want to make sure that people know to feed the meters, okay?
The other thing, I think they're experienced when they get to the meter, that they don't have change or something. I noticed that in front of the Chase Bank. Somebody came there and then they asked me, and then I just reached in my pocket, gave him $1, said, don't worry about it.
Well,
He said, well, I only want to stay, it was 25 cents and 50 cents.
yeah.
By the time he went into the bank, he would have had a ticket, right?
Yeah.
I figured that. It was easy to give
You
him
know, that's
$1.
one of the issues. Not a lot of people anymore carry change in it. I mean, I don't carry change in my
Neither do
pocket.
I.
But, those people who don't carry change more than likely have a debit card in their hand, have cash in their hand or something to pay for the meter. And we encourage everybody to pay if it needs to be paid. Like people, I've heard things, well, somebody just ran into my store and picked something up and they got out and they got a ticket. Unfortunately, bad timing. Maybe the guy just happened to be there or whatever. And our guys cannot selectively tell somebody, like, if they know that somebody didn't pay, they can stand and say, look, you didn't pay. But we have to enforce every vehicle in the village without selective
Well, as you
enforcement.
know, we're not that popular right now.
What's that?
I say we're not that popular right now
Well-
because of the meters, but I think they'll adjust to
Yeah.
it like anything
Yeah.
else. Everywhere else you go, you have to pay,
And-
So they get used to it. It's
Yeah.
just, that sudden shock now.
Yeah, nobody thinks twice when they go into New York City and they gotta pay $40 to park their car or pay a meter which goes up the more longer you park. New York City meters, if you park in an hour, it's $3. If you park in 2 hours, it's $7. If you park in more, it just continues to rise. Other villages have it. Huntington is enforcing it. Port Jefferson has had it for a while. But I think our meter policy now is probably the most liberal around.
How much time do you really have in there before you get a ticket? As soon as you pull in, or you got 5 minutes?
Depends when it comes around the corner. If it comes
Yeah.
around the corner and you have it,
But once you're expired, you've got 15 minutes.
Just pulling in.
Yeah, yeah. I
One
mean,
of the things-
again, it's a bad timing,
one of the things, David, I think you have to let the merchants need to know is that they can fill any meter. So if you're at Parabell's,
Yes.
you park down by the brick house,
Yes.
you can walk out to the meter outside it and up your,
Yeah,
That's a good point.
it's extremely important.
Yeah.
People put money up and down the block, they don't need to go back to
Yeah.
the meter that they were in,
There you go.
any meter.
I mean, you can go, if you're, again, at Brick House and you parked over there, you can go to the meter at Brick House. You don't have to
I
go to
think
that
that's all
particular meter.
part of education.
It is part of education, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a good
The
point.
other thing on the app, that you need to know the license plate number. So, like if my son, I want
Right,
to
yes.
put it on his,
Mhm.
and I don't know his license plate, he doesn't know his
Yes.
license plate number.
Yeah, that's,
So if I do it with my license plate number, does it make any difference?
I don't know if they check, it's a,
I would imagine that's more identification for the phone than it is.
yeah, I don't think that it would come up on the guy's iPad, that it's paid by a different,
All they know is
the space will be green lighted.
So that's all they know.
Yeah, the only way that would be if the guy was gonna give him a ticket and he noticed that the license plate is different, but I don't think there's any way, that they know that.
Jack, if I could just interject.
Sure.
From the early days from my office with the complaints, going back to paying at every meter, that we had some complaints that the meter was down, which was very rare. They got a ticket because if a meter happens to be down, it's the responsibility of the user to find the next closest meter to you. So we can't even use that argument in court that that meter was down because you are to pay everywhere.
But again, once somebody gets a ticket, now it becomes the jurisdiction of the prosecutor and the judge. So if the guy comes in with a ticket and he's got an argument, it's up to the prosecutor to decide whether he's gonna pay $25 or $10 or whatever it is. So each ticket is $25. We didn't wanna make it too high, just as a
Now,
reasonable
do you
deterrent.
get that money?
Personally?
No.
Why, you want a piece of it? No, the money goes,
Because that would make that figure look better.
the monies from the meters
Yes.
go into a specific parking fund. So that money only goes to help improve the parking situation. That money will go to help us fund properties that we want to buy. It's specifically earmarked for that, the meter. The violations goes into the general fund, but we can use that money, again, for parking. We can pull out of the general fund, correct? Correct. All
So it
right.
doesn't leave the district? It doesn't-
No, it doesn't, and some people say, well,
Then I think you should give out more tickets.
I'll take that in mind. We'll say a gift from Uncle Artie. What we need to remember is that, again, we do enforce it. And that's what makes this whole thing work. That's why we have turnaround on Main Street. And you have a Main Street business. Anybody who has a Main Street business has to see that is working. Before 10 o'clock, it used to be Main Street was packed with cars.
Yeah.
And people would be parking there all day. Now, there's that turnover. Is that what you guys, everybody, are we seeing that, or? Okay. All right, so it's working. We're pushing people into the back lots, and those people who are coming in just want to stay for a little while, whatever, are going into the front.
I experienced that in 1993, 94, 95, where the owners would park on Main Street all day long.
That's been the problem.
And I used to argue with them all the
Yeah,
time.
that's been the problem. And, hopefully this parking situation, the lots will move the employees to the back. Our parking lots are well lit. They're well, our code guys are in the lots a lot at night. If any business has an issue with people who need to walk out late at night in the dark, they can certainly call code enforcement and ask them to come. If they see somebody, I get a lot of things, well, we don't want to go in the parking lot because, one night I was in there and there was some guy who would look very menacing, and I said, did you call the police? No. Did you call code? No. Why? You see somebody like that in the parking lot, you should pick up the phone and call our guys. Not that I want my guys to go in there and try to rustle up some guy who looks menacing, but at least they can call the police and do something like that. But our parking lots are relatively safe, Al.
Oh,
I mean,
we're in lots all the time.
yeah. So, we'll be doing even more of that.
Jack,
Yes.
how many people here read the Long Island Advance?
Oh, yes, that's right.
75 years
Yeah.
ago.
75 years ago, and I'm sorry, Linda, I was gonna mention that
No,
right
that's
off the
okay,
bat.
we've been writing about
Yeah.
this all the time.
Yeah. 75 years ago,
September 1939.
1939, Mayor Butler, Brian?
Yep.
Mayor Butler and the village board proposed parking meters on Main Street in the village. Which back then, I would say there was very little parking in the back. You were just a kid, right? And they proposed that in front of the village, in front of the residents. The first time they did it, it was turned down. Obviously, again, they did it because they approved it, because if you look at pictures from the 1940s in the Village of Patchogue, there are parking meters on the street. So this is not a new problem in the Village of Patchogue. It's not a new problem in most villages on Long Island. Parking is an issue, and the way that they're addressing it is putting in meters, and it's working. Any other questions? Yes?
I apologize if I missed this earlier. You said for village residents, it's free parking in all the lots.
Yes.
What about store owners and employees?
They still have to pay. You have to be a
The whole
village resident. But the lots are free during the day. The lots are free during the day for everybody.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Okay.
At night, they're paid. So as a village resident, if you have a resident parking sticker, you can park in the lots at night for free, okay? Not on the street.
So a store owner and an employee has to pay every single day?
No, they can park free in the
Yeah, no,
areas.
but at 5 o'clock, they have to pay.
If they're parked in a meter
If they're
space.
parked in the meter space.
If they're parked in the 75% that's not metered,
Right.
that would be true.
I would suggest that,
Unfortunately, at 5 o'clock, you're happy to get any space.
yeah.
You can't be picky. You just have to park where you can find something. My lot has to be a Church Street lot, so.
Yes.
So,
Which business is yours?
the Richard York Shoe Store.
Oh,
on
okay,
South Ocean.
okay. Yeah, so during the day, that'll be all free.
But at 5 o'clock, we'll have to go outside and pay.
If you're parked in that pay area.
Right, but again,
Yeah.
what-
If you get there early enough, you have to go towards the back, towards Church Street itself.
Yes,
right.
And
yeah.
then walk in between the free ones, so you can park there all night too.
Yeah.
You have to look
Park
for
free,
the, tell them what the free ones.
Now, what's the average time a customer comes into your place? What would you say they stay? Hour?
It depends.
Somebody who's shopping?
It depends, could be less, could be more.
Okay. All right, again, as a business owner, you'll see this developing, and I don't want to take too much time, I've been talking almost an hour, but as a business owner, you'll hear it from your customers, you'll see for yourself. Send an email to the village, send it to me, send an email to my village account, and say, look, the customer came in and said such and such and such. We do listen to that, we don't just blow it off. We really pay attention to it. I think my friend here, David Kennedy, can attest to that, we do listen to what's going on out there, and we tried to develop a plan that's going to make it more convenient for people who are coming in the village, and we will hopefully give out less tickets to people.
At one time, I thought you were talking about some kind of sticker for employees.
That was planned, but after talking to the Chamber of Commerce and other people, we decided that was going to be a much too complicated plan, and it probably wasn't going to work.
Ended up reducing the
Chamber
number
of
of,
Commerce?
well, they ended up reducing the number of spots they were gonna meter in the lot.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a lot, this is a much more reduced number of metered spots in the
Yeah.
lots. I mean, and again, I think Jack's biggest point that we should all keep in mind is that work in progress. This is not the final say, this is where we are today. And I'm sure there's gonna be adjustments made.
Yeah.
I know the village is very seriously looking at expanding parking to make a real employee parking lot a possibility. You know, there is, those discussions are ongoing, our parking committee is ongoing, and I think we all recognize employee parking is the biggest challenge
Yes.
of our parking.
1/3 of the parking spaces that are taken up in the downtown area are employees and business owners. 1/3, that's a lot.
And that's why.
And
we
probably,
should- yeah.
I'm sorry, and probably in Patchogue, it's even higher because we have so many restaurants. Employees in a restaurant, between probably the hours of noon on a Friday and 12 PM, 2 AM, their employee numbers, I don't know how many working at the Brick House on a Friday night, but it's gotta be 30 people, 40 people.
Jack, that's why I always thought that we probably implement a parking area where the employees could go, and we could shuttle them into the village, and we could have that, and the cost would come passed on to the owners of the building and the customers. Like, I have 2 acres up on River Avenue I offered, where we could park 40 cars, 50 cars, and get them off the, from downtown, and just have a bus shuttle.
I think one of the
I know
things
that's
that,
in there, I know it's been discussed, and that's not a new idea.
I think one of the things that we found, and David knows this, during Alive After 5, the shuttle from St. Joseph's College, bringing people into the village worked very well.
Yeah.
What we thought that, well, maybe a shuttle can work, where we're taking people, well, of course not St. Joseph's College, but, at night to utilize the train station parking lot, or other parking lots that are further away, Academy Street parking lot, things like that.
I think
So,
it would work.
Yeah. Mrs. Sigel, welcome.
Your friend. You know how I feel about the parking meters, and you know how I feel about putting paid meters in the fields. I don't know what's happened to it since I was here last to complain, but today I have a different issue.
Oh, okay.
But that, I would like that to be addressed, David, trying to get the employees.
Yeah, and that's an education.
You go to Atlantic City, you pull up to a hotel, they take the car.
Yeah.
And you go to Vegas, the valet parking is here to stay.
Yeah.
And people trust it, I think you're doing an excellent job now.
Well, one of the issues with the valet parking is that people pull into the Terry Street lot, they see the valet and they see empty parking spaces and say, $5, free, I'll park here. But maybe now that the meters are going, that valet may work a little bit better. But, and valet parking really, works best when somebody can pull up in front of the restaurant, get out of the car, and the car takes off. They don't have to walk.
Right.
So if somebody's going to, say, barbecue, and they're gonna valet over at, behind the library, it's a walk.
I've heard that complaint already.
So.
Well, thank God I'm 87, I'm not gonna worry.
And you could use the walk, it's good to walk every now and
You
then.
guys do anymore.
Now,
I love Patchogue.
I know you do, I know you do. Yes, George.
The Church Street lot, what's the rule about before 10 AM?
Could we see the picture of it?
Yeah, it's gonna be, and again,
He was at a church meeting.
like this strip here, maybe we'll revise that and make that free at night. We'll look at that and see if that might work better, because I know that there's a lot of employees here, okay? So this can be adjusted, but this is nighttime pay, this is, not all free all the time. for all portions.
Green is
Where's
pay.
Church?
This Church Street is down here.
So that little strip that comes down to Church Street, that's free?
Free parking, yes. Yeah, this is free. And all this-
What is it about before 10 AM?
Before 10 AM, no parking
No
here.
parking in that area?
Yes. Yes. So the employees hopefully will park down here.
How many remember the houses on Terry Street in 1964, when we took the houses down for parking? And that was the BUD,
Yeah.
Business Use District.
Yes.
And we bought all those houses. So maybe we should be looking on the other side of the street.
We have, we are in the process.
I'm behind it.
We'll-
keep my mouth shut, Jack, I'm behind that line.
We're looking at situations that could probably add reasonably up to 300 more spaces downtown,
Okay, good.
okay? For a cost that's reasonable enough, and by having the meters in here, the taxpayers of the village won't have to pay for it, okay? Because it's gonna come out of the meter revenue.
With those 300 meters, will they be charged?
No, 300 spaces free.
Be free?
Yeah. We'll try to, what we want to do is create more employee parking, get them out of the parking lots. So reasonably 300 additional spaces
Will be where?
on different locations in the village that
No, it's
we really shouldn't discuss right now.
I agree.
But, there are locations. Yes, George?
One thing that would help a lot is opening up the driveways into Tri-Tech. Because that lot on Jennings Street is pretty much unusable without
Yes.
those driveways open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
the,
is that for?
the problem with it right now is that until those properties are transferred back to us, and that roadway is transferred to the village, and they're in the process of doing what attorneys do, take forever. It's $4.50 an hour, David Sloan's having a great time.
Yeah, so once again, I want to stress, if you're a village resident, Frankie, Marilyn, John, Joe, everybody here who's a village resident, get your sticker. Make sure you have one now, because once this comes into effect, they're going to enforce it, sticker or no sticker. So we want to make sure you have that. And also, again, that only 25% of the meters in the village are going to be, 25% of the spaces are going to be metered, 10% during the day. So it's very limited. We're not going to make as much money as the original plan was, where we were putting, probably 600 meters, spaces, but I think this is a more reasonable proposal for the people. And again, it saves taxpayer dollars because the people who are using the parking lots are the one who are paying it. Because it's not, free parking is not free. Somebody's paying for it. Somebody's paying to sweep it, somebody's paying to light it, somebody's paying to secure it, someone's paying our guys to patrol it, someone's paying for plowing the snow. And the one who's paying for all this is you, the resident. That's what we want to ease that burden, that tax burden on our residents, and also at the same time be able to improve and increase our parking system. Any other questions? Yes, Gail?
Up in that little part there behind, like Gino's,
Mhm.
and what was J&R's, that little piece?
Right here, yes.
Are you gonna have quite a few handicapped spots
We
in there?
can't put handicap, I don't think we could put handicap in here because of the angular nature of it.
They're there now.
I don't think we have handicap.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, we do? Yeah, well, what we're doing is we're reevaluating our handicap situation. There's gonna be quite a few handicapped here.
Okay,
There
no,
are, we added handicap, in fact.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
just thinking of Tricia's, because I know she has
Yeah. No, that's right,
some
there is.
clientele that she really needs.
Yeah, there are a few handicapped here.
Yeah.
And what we're gonna do, we're gonna look on the street at our handicap spaces and try to move them closer to the meters. What we try to do is have them at the ends because it's easier to get in and out. And most of those ends have a meter near them, but there's a few in the middle of the street that don't. We wanna make it convenient for people. And again, I've gotten questions from people about, free parking for different people. No, everybody's got to pay. Handicap has to pay, veterans have to pay, firemen have to pay, volunteers have to pay, because I get calls from a lot of different groups who say, well, firemen shouldn't have to pay. They don't have to pay, they can park in the back. So, there's, there's all those kind of issues that we deal with on a regular basis.
Did a good job, sir. Come on, the only one.
Thank you for being such a good audience.
It goes to show you what they think of you, Jack.
And-
We were the relative.
Yeah, but you're around.
Tell me when I can go.
I appreciate everybody's patience, and again, if you have any questions and you want to email me, it's jkrieger@patchoguevillage.org, or you can call me at 631-987-2972. That's my personal cell phone.
What was that again?
631-987-2972. Usually, if I don't recognize your number, I will let you leave a voicemail, and I'll get back to you.
And Jack, you can certainly call me first at Village Hall.
Yes, or you can call Patty Seal or anybody here at Village Hall. Okay?
Can I go now?
You can go. I'm sorry for taking so long.
You want to stay for the fun day?
Over here.
Okay, you have two public hearings this evening. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing be held on Monday, September 22nd, 6 p.m., 14th Main Street, Patchogue, New York, by the Village Board of the Incorporated Village of Patchogue, to amend section 143-3B of Village Code to prohibit disposal of animal waste in sewers and drains. Copies of the proposed local laws on file at the Village Clerk at said open hearing. Any person interested will be given the opportunity
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. First is a amendment to section 143-3B of the code, which prohibits disposal of animal waste in sewers and drains. Currently, 143-3B provides that it is any person having in charge of a dog shall cause, suffer, or not cause, suffer, or allow such dog to soil. What we're looking to expand with this amendment is to expand it to include cats and other animals to stop the disposal in the drains.
It's really what we're doing, just tightening up the code.
Correct. Just expanding it slightly beyond dogs.
You know, as you all know, we've had EPA order, at some point in time, they're going to read these sections of the law and require these changes. So we're going to go, as we can read through the laws, and make the changes that we comes by the board. That's why I never wrote the dog. So let them follow everybody around with plastic bag on it. Comments to the public. Mr. Bojack. I got it here. I have 3 kids I used to follow around. I'm not going to follow a dog around.
John Bogack, 8 Knoxon Street, and of course I speak in favor of the law, but I have a question about the EPA audit.
Yeah.
Is there an actual EPA audit and a copy?
We don't have, there's not an audit itself that we got. We just got a list of things that we must complete. And that's what we're in the process of doing now.
So the reason I asked that is I did foil the audit, and I was told that it wasn't in this, excuse me?
See, I don't think what we got was, it was in the form of an audit, no. It was in the form of a recommendation and
It's a letter, it's not a foilable document, it's not an audit, it's not like the comptrollers. It's not like, they don't produce an audit like an audit report.
Okay, but what is it then?
It's a letter that we get from the EPA saying this is what you guys have to do.
Okay, and is that foilable?
I don't know. You know, it could be considered an interagency exception, which you know is an exception to the foil law. So.
we didn't get anything that, like we get from the controller. In other words, we don't, they haven't sent us a...
They produced it in a letter form, and I do not know, as I sit here, whether that is subject to foil.
Okay, but I just want to describe it more accurately so that Patty Seal can actually, you know, I guess bring it to you to see whether or not it's foilable or not.
The letter is a result of the EPA audit.
So that's how I'll describe it.
That's it, yep.
Exactly.
And we'll know exactly what you're talking about.
And we'll check to see if we can release it. I don't know if there's no here that's hidden.
Of course.
Okay, cool. All right, so, and again, I speak in favor of that. Actually, I'll do it on the other one too, the other resolution as well, so.
Thank you. Motion to accept is presented.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's okay.
Yes.
Notice is hereby given that a public hearing be held on Monday, September 22nd, 14 Baker Street, Patchogue, New York, by the Village Board of the Incorporated Village of Patchogue, to add Article 4 to Chapter 143 of the Village Code to prohibit the creation of conditions resulting in the congregation of waterfowl. I'm not really sure if we do that, but a copy of which proposal of the laws on file at the office. Village Clerk at 7 Open Hearing.
I will be happy to tell you how we're going to do that. Prevent the congregation. Prevent the congregation of waterfowl is really only a fancy word for don't feed them and don't allow them to congregate in such an area that it causes excessive nitrogen deposits in our waterways. Yes, it does have a deleterious impact, and ultimately the DC and the United States EPA, in their infinite wisdom, is going to require us to enter into a Canada goose management plan. This is our first step towards what is in the requirement to prevent waterfowl defined as swans, geese, and ducks, and any other waterfowl falling under the jurisdiction of the United States Fish and Wildlife Service to be fed or provided food on any publicly owned lands or waterways within the Village of Patchogue.
You can't shoot a butch at the start.
Hopefully they will continue on their migratory plans and move elsewhere.
Okay, by the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I didn't know, it was jumping up and down like they would say something. Okay, great. You know, one of the things that happens in a place like Village Hall or any, you end up taking advantage of people. You continually ask them to do things where they're really out of what their normal responsibilities are. And then you begin to look back and say, you know, I asked this guy to go here, I asked him to go there. He attends this meeting for me, he attends that meeting for this trustee. And that his responsibilities stretch past what his title is. You know, over the last 4 years, 5 years, we've had Dennis Smith as the executive director for the BID. And as we all know, you take a look at downtown, you see what's gotten done. But that hasn't been the only thing that he's done. Example, 2 weeks ago, we had this group in from Australia, he spent time walking in the village, not on his BID time, on village time. This afternoon, he went to a meeting with Suffolk County downtown redevelopment. What I'd like to do, and that's just sampling the little things that he does. The things that, you know, I come here on a Saturday, he's in Village Hall, not just doing BID work, but doing what ostensibly is village work. He puts in his part-time 40 hours, and what I would like to do is, and what I'm going to do, is that we create a position as assistant to the mayor and the board of trustees, and at an amount of $20,000 for the year, on top of the salary he's already making at the BID. He puts in full-time hours. He is worth every penny of what he gets with the BID, and it's about time we reimburse him for what he does for the village. So, in the form of a motion, to create the position of assistant to the mayor and the board of trustees, which means, Mr. Smith, they're all going to have your cell phone number.
Hopefully they have it now. But we'll look forward to that.
And that, because all the trustees work, they all have jobs. So there are times during the course of the day, whether it's Jack up at the town, or South, over his garage, they can't get out to meet with people. They don't have the opportunity to get certain things done. And by having Dennis available to them, in a way that they're not imposing upon him. And I know they all have asked him at various times to do things, and impose upon him to do them. Now, at least we can feel like he's being reimbursed for time served. Therefore, a motion to create the position of assistant to the mayor and the board of trustees as an amount not to exceed $20,000 per year. Motion. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's okay. Dennis, congratulations, welcome. Request approval for the village to participate in the Eastern Suffolk Postage Joint Municipal Cooperative Bidding Program, the 2014-15 school year. We've done it over the course of the last 7 years. Sometimes we get electricians, plumbers. It's just another avenue for us when we're looking for services to look at. And they're, in certain areas, especially in electrical and plumbing, they're much better than the county and the town. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Request to set a public hearing to grant a special permit to convert existing one-family home at 129 River Avenue to a two-family home. Get a date?
Tuesday, October 14th,
Tuesday after the
is our next
schedule.
meeting.
Tuesday, October 14th, motion?
Motion.
Second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Very good. Mr. Smith, BID report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, village trustees, Mrs. Seal, John Egan, ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Smith with the BID report. But prior to that, I just want to say thank you. I think it was most thoughtful of this board to recognize my work and my efforts within the village, and aside from, in addition to what I do for the BID. And not only to acknowledge that, but to attach a monetary value to that is greatly appreciated by me. I appreciate your vote of confidence. I look forward to continuing to do the work that I've been doing, and then some. I'm at your service. I look forward to continuing those efforts and working for the success of Patchogue Village and this board anytime and in all capacities. So, thank you very much.
Thank you guys, much appreciated.
The ID
Judge
report.
will be this year again?
I'm sorry.
Thanks. Christmas parade?
Yeah,
It says parades on this list, right? It doesn't matter.
I will be there.
Make sure that, you know, civic groups, county, government, business groups, parades.
I just have a question though, is Dennis going to report to us? Is it going to be?
He'll answer to us, doesn't have to do a report to us, yeah.
Okay.
I'll find out more.
You know my closet, right? I love it though, I love it over there, it's not a
Oh,
problem.
you didn't tell you got the mayor's office.
That's okay, that one's occupied, and God bless the man.
The promotion does not come with a window.
Exactly right. Maybe a little air conditioning.
We'll cut a hole through so you can see into the men's room.
Thanks, Tom. Listen, I just wanted to talk briefly about the New York Main Street cycle, grand cycle that we're in. We're coming to the end of it. It expires at the end of December. There's a lot going on, as I think is evidenced on the street when you see the different activities. We've kind of got to have this done by the 19th of December. We're making good progress. 78 East Main Street, the law office next to the post office is totally complete. All the new siding, windows, and everything else that was supposed to happen there is done. He's given me his paperwork. We're starting to process that with Albany. Hopefully he'll be reimbursed within the next 3-4 weeks. 27 East Main, which is Blum's, is fully underway. Now, Blum's and Avian decided to do the entire renovation now, which is going to be roughly $450,000 in total. We are partnering just for the front of it with the grant bid, with the grant that we're matching. And basically we're doing some of the windows, the entranceway, new sign work, brickwork, and stuff in the front. He's made good progress on that. That should be done within the next 2-3 weeks. We'll start closing that one out. 124, 126 East Main, which is the old olive tree on La Isla. Basically done with the facade. The last thing we had to do there was recess the doorway so that the doors didn't open up into the sidewalk. That's been done within the last week. There's some finishing touches on the facade, so within another week to 10 days, that one will be complete as well, and we can start parking that one. 46 East Main is a work in progress. We've cleaned up that's the old yesteryear's building. We've cleaned up the outside considerably on not only the road walkway, but the front and the back. We did a lot of soffit trim work. The building's been repaired as far as the stucco/ephes system is concerned, and it's been repainted, so looks a lot better. We're at a little bit of a crossroads there because they're not sure what they want to do with the building. And we're going to go as far as we can with this grant in the next couple of weeks. And then, depending upon whether they come and ask to have the property divided or have something else done with the front facade, would be an issue that would be beyond this grant. And it would be, up to obviously the village, and they would undertake that by themselves. So it's a work in progress. We're going to see where it leads. The benches to complete the East Main Street streetscape project are due within the next week. I believe the beginning of next week was the target date. As soon as they come, I'll work with Joe Dean. We'll try to get those in the trash receptacles placed, and then we'll pretty much finish off that piece of East Main Street. And it's looking good already, and that'll just be the icing on the cake. At the last bid board meeting, the board decided to contract GC Worldwide Security Group to start our surveillance camera initiative. As I believe everybody knows, we've got $10,000 in the budget for to start surveillance cameras. They come up with a plan. We're going to have 3 new PTZ cameras. We're going to encompass the theater and the Furman building on the 4 corners. These cameras are going to have the ability to look up and down East Main Street as well as Ocean Avenue. And we're going to cover the Church Street parking lot and utilize some of the existing theater cameras and look at the theater parking lot in the back as well. So it's a pretty good start. We're going to incorporate into that a monitor that's going to be placed here at Village Hall. I know we've had some discussion about this. The mayor's waited on it, and it would be good to have a permanent monitor, which we will arrange for in the constable's trailer, so that it can be viewed at all times from there. But these cameras will have the ability to be accessed via a computer laptop, smartphone, assuming you have a username and the correct password. So I think it'll be a nice addition to making the village safe, to starting our security initiative, and we can take it and go with it from there. So I'm going to meet with Seth this week. He's the contact person for this organization, and I'm looking to get that started sooner rather than later, because obviously weather's going to be an issue, so we want to have it done before we get too far into the fall and weather does become an issue. Just a few side notes: there was a diseased tree in the Ryder Avenue entranceway at the Terry Street parking field. That was removed this morning. Ivan Frank had identified that. I couldn't begin to try to pronounce the disease that it had. It was 3 words and it reached each 18 letters long. So, but he said it had to go, it was going to affect the other trees, so we did that today. We're looking to put 200 mums on the Waverly Circle, hopefully this week. We did that about 3 years ago, and it's really, really very impactful as you come into the village from Waverly Avenue. I know Paula and Karen has been working on getting the mums. We're working on getting a landscaper to put them in. They'll lay them out. We'll have one of our guys go there and put them in. And we're hoping to get that done this week, so we can have it in place for the St. Laurent Festival this weekend. Just a quick note about the parking meters and the awareness and education part of it. We had talked about creating a pamphlet / something that could go on a website to help educate people. Little handouts that they could get at the theater, at retail shops. Make it compatible so it could be put on a website so that people could see just what we have, what they have to do, what's expected depending upon where they want to park, and consequently what's free, which is a good thing. Now that we have some concrete boundaries, we can start to really, really pursue that and hopefully get that done in the very near future as well. So it's an issue that, I know we started with the bid, the chamber was helping us with it, the village was clued in, so I think collectively we can get together, in the next week or so and maybe start to make that work.
Right, and your new role as, what's the title?
Assistant to the Mayor of the Board of Trustees.
Assistant to the Mayor of the Board of Trustees. It's a good time. So we'll get together.
Always plenty
And
of
we'll get together with David and maybe we can get some people to help sponsor it.
Okay. Well, I know they've been on board with, the kickoff, so we can get it started. Unless there's any questions for me, that's all I have.
Just a couple of comments about security cameras, Dennis. Thank you for your 3-year diligent effort of making it happen. They do record 21 days of information. It's very likely that the Suffolk County Police will have real-time access to the cameras as well as the historical information that's stored. And if we wanted to, we could put one of those cameras on the internet and have the Live After 5 be broadcast all over the world in real time.
We could do that.
Yeah, there will be a camera probably on the Furman building that will look north, east, south, and west. It'll rotate around, and if we want to, we can put the streaming output from that camera. By the way, there's a couple of cities in the United States that have done it. I mean, maybe it's just a gimmick, but once it's in place, it doesn't cost a dime.
It's
advertising Patchogue.
Hey, it would be good to get that out there. I think, was it Mrs. Seal's comment about the city that, I forget, I heard it this morning. There was a city we were compared to? Tennessee, or I don't know.
Oh, well, Nashville, yeah, no.
Nashville, there you go.
Oh, really?
Yes, friends actually from Sigel had come into the village this past weekend, hadn't been here for a long time. Had just come back from Nashville, Tennessee, and said that walking up and down Main Street reminded them of the lower Broadway part of Nashville, that how much was going on here, how great it was. So they're just a couple of towns over.
Is Elvis moving in?
He's Memphis.
Been
Oh,
here
Memphis.
for 40 years.
We can stream those events and get those kind of comments as a...
And as I heard David Kennedy say, now you can just stream from the pleasure of your home.
Hey, exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
David Kennedy.
First lady.
Are you leaving, Ms. Pontieri?
Yes, Mr. Pontieri, I am. I'm going home to your mother.
Good night, Frank.
Someone has to be her.
Be nice to her.
Good night.
Good evening, everyone. Pleasure to be here. I'll just, obviously plenty been said about parking. I don't really have anything more to add other than to say, just to concur with Jack of how well you worked with the chamber and included us every step of the way. Very much appreciated. And we know this is still something we're going to continue to work on. It's an issue, hopefully, we're going to be dealing with forever, because that means Patchogue's a popular place to be, and the people want to be here. We're going to do the best that we can to make that trip to Patchogue as pleasurable as possible. All right, as Dennis referenced, this weekend is St. Liberata, our big Italian festival. Plans are all set and ready to go. Our bocce ball tournament is looking well. Looks like we're going to have about 10 to 12 teams participating this year, so got a lot of stiff competition out there, Tom. Rob Calarco has put it in this year as well.
I gave him the picture.
And I understand he actually owns 2 sets of bocce balls at home, so he's practicing. So just give you a fair warning. But as everybody knows, Jim Romeo is our Italian-American Person of the Year. We got a couple extra with the meatball places going out for the first time and being part of the festival. Public House is actually going to have a larger presence than they've had in the past. So it's going to be a true feast this year, and I really encourage everybody to come on down. It's from 12 to 5 this Saturday.
When the parade start?
Right at 12. It's going to start right at 12. I think they want to gather everybody at the Brick House, and then they'll start parading. The parade usually lasts about an hour, and then the stage close to the Four Corners, there'll be some presentations about one. They'll give out some proclamations and make some presentations. Obviously the next event after that for us is our big fall festival, which will be on October the 18th. And I'm happy to announce, we were contacted by Maria and New Village about incorporating what is now known as the Village Green as part of the festival. They were planning at New Village to do a fall event themselves, and it happened to be the same day. So we're combining our efforts, and they're working on a scarecrow contest to add to it, and an expansion of where the vendors will be. So I think that's a good step that we can start doing more of that in the future with that Village Green as a nice public space.
Great collaboration between Parks Department, Parks and Rec, and the New Village.
Yep, and it's perfect timing. We're going to work with it as well, and that's going to be another great event for us. And then following that will be our Halloween Happenings, which is our little trick-or-treat event for families that bring their kids up to town, where most of our merchants will give out treats to the kids, as well as special tokens that they can trade in at our pumpkin patch for a special gift. And that also we're expanding with working in collaboration with Plaza Mac, the Plaza Cinema. They're going to possibly do a spooky walk at the garden, the Patchogue Garden, as well as do an animated Halloween film festival that night as well. So again, it's nice to see all these organizations coming together and working for the benefit for each other. And then, just a couple of chamber events. Tomorrow is a great trip to the casino. Jack, if you were coming, I would love you to bring those nice boards to me. I would love to borrow those, or have you come to the future meeting. We did send out notice about the meeting tonight, but it would be good to just continue to get the word out. And
When's the next meeting?
Well, we have it tomorrow night. It's technically a meeting at the casino, and I can certainly plan that. After that, we will have a gathering. Huh? No, don't bring it away. Tom's going, doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah, you want to hear it.
But anytime that the chamber does gather, I would love to make sure that we bring those boards out, just so people are staying in tune with what's going on.
Let me know when you want to do it.
Thank you very much. So we have that. Our installation, annual installation dinner is October the 15th in Mediterranean Manor. This year we're honoring our Patchogue beautification efforts. In particular, the beautification committee, the garden club, and in particular Paula Murphy for all that she does for the community. So that's our honorees this year. The invitations are out there. If you want to contact the chamber office, anybody's welcome to come to that event as well. And speaking of beautification, I do want to their efforts for the memorial bench has been exceptional this year. We just dedicated one this past week. The Patchogue Lions Club has their bench right in front of the library. They did a beautiful little dedication ceremony last week. And thanks to Tom and Karen's efforts, the Village Idiot will be doing a bench in honor of their father, who owns the original building there at the time. Oh, he's even got some funding for it. That's it.
This is the Blum's bench.
Oh, and then there's a Blum's bench
This is
going
a
in.
check.
That's going to be a well added effort. And the reason I'm bringing up all this stuff about the memorial bench is that we are also trying right now to raise funds for a bench in the name of the fire department, to honor the Patchogue Fire Department. We're collecting some funds. We're about a third of the way there. So I just want to encourage, any resident that's looking for something to do for the holidays or someplace to contribute to, contributing to these memorial benches for the fire department would be a good start. Make the check out to the Greater Patchogue Foundation, we mailed to 15 North Ocean Avenue, or just contact with the chamber office and we'll set you up with that. And then another meeting that we're working on, but this would be strictly for advertising the fact that Patchogue is really going to be a community-wide hotspot for people who want to use their electronic devices. Cablevision will be doing a presentation to the chamber membership on October the 16th at the Patchogue Theater that morning, explaining to businesses how they can set up accounts at no charge, that is separate from their individual personal internal accounts, that is a public account, that people can go into your business and still get access to the internet, particularly restaurants and roast coffee and places that are gathering spots. If you're a Cablevision customer, you can help expand the reach and make Patchogue truly a hot spot. And I know the village is working on making.
You're also going to blanket the parks too, so people can go down and after work, take your kids to the park, take your iPad if you need to still do some work, be able to get access over to the parks, from the pool to the ball fields.
And just something that just keeps Patchogue on the cutting edge, just ahead of the curve of where people are at. And really that's, unless anybody has any questions for me, that will conclude my report. I know our first date request for the upcoming year, I think, made it on the agenda. I wasn't sure for the pep parade. I'll wait for that time for that to come up.
I mentioned to Marion the other day, she should get a hold of you, is that what we really need to do is set up, you have the grants committee, you got the parking committee, you really need to set up a calendar committee and really sit down before the first of the year and take a look at all the major events, whether those major events are the Live at the Fives, the music festival, and really kind of lay them out. And Billy, you pretty much know the weekends of the major races, and how do we marry all of them? There's a couple of things. Number one, it saves a lot of the conflict that happens in May, and, April and May when we're trying to put that stuff together. But also, if you get all of those things out to News 12, Newsday, the local press, then, the advance, they could put our calendar in, and they're prepared as the year goes along, as all of these things begin to happen. And that becomes the critical piece of it. Linda's here all the time, and so she gets that information, but there's so many other people we can put on our website, put on the chamber website, put on our recreation. So talk to Marion about, but I think it's extremely important that we get a calendar committee.
I think it's an excellent idea. The more and more events that we do and more and more things that we do need to have better coordination. We kind of started that last year when we were putting our dates. We did bring a lot of people together to work that out. I thought that was a big success, and we need to expand on that. It's an excellent suggestion, and I will certainly follow up on that. All right. Anybody else?
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Deputy Mayor. Well, Mr. Mayor, I think I've said enough tonight, so I'm going to defer to Trustee Felice.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give a little, Trustee Keyes couldn't be here at prior obligations, so I'll just do half of his agenda, and I think Tom will take the rest. First, I'd like to make a motion to request the approval to hire Arnold Anderson as a sanitation laborer at $21.93 per hour. So that's a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Second, I'd like to request the approval to hire per diem snow removal laborers at $12 per hour.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Next is a request for the approval to go out to bid for a 4-month rental of a small skid steer for snow removal. That's a motion. Big
Small,
steer.
small.
It eats very little.
What is that sound?
It's a small little tractor with, rubber tractor and.
Used to be known as a volunteer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sidewalks.
Yeah, it does sound.
I seconded
All in favor?
it. Aye.
And last lastly, for me, I'd like to request the approval for the class of 2015 for the Patchogue Medford High School to use the DPW yard for float preparation for the week of October 20th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That's all I have for Joe.
Do you have anything else for Seth?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I just have just a couple little things. You want me to do them now?
Yeah, go on. Do it all.
Unfortunately, one of our public safety officers needs to resign. He has other obligations and he won't be able to fulfill his duties for the village, and he felt that it would be best if he resigned and, we went out and got somebody else. So, unfortunately, I'd like to accept the resignation of Public Safety Officer Robert Choppy.
With regrets. Motion?
Second.
Aye. And next is also another public safety. I'd like to request the approval to promote Sergeant James Frezza to lieutenant within the public safety. And in layman's terms, that would mean, in the equivalent to the civil service title, that would be senior code enforcer officer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And that's all I have.
Trustee Ferb.
Thank you. I got a couple of Trustee Keyes' items. Request approval to hire Best Poison Ivy Removal Company to remove bamboo on village property between 47 and 49 Thorburn Avenue at a cost not to exceed $13,000.
We've heard a lot of talk over the last several months about bamboo. We're formulating a resource village code on that. But before we go out and ask residents to take care of bamboo on their properties or on their neighbors' properties, and however we put this together, we need to make sure that any places that we have it, it does not interfere with the residents. In this place down in Thorburn, it is encroaching, it's on our property, encroaching on neighbors' properties. So we will clean that to the property lines, correct? Good.
Yes. That's a motion.
Good. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we're, at this point, looking at all our properties to make sure that we don't have any other places where it's encroaching.
Next item, request approval to accept a bid of $14,000 for a used 2010 Ford Transit Connect XL from BI Auto Sales.
This is just a small van. I don't know if you've seen these, if you don't know what these are, these Ford Transit Connects. The cable vision, that's the vehicle they have, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does it come in pink or purple?
No, I think I was coming
It all
white.
depends on how you...
That's a motion.
Second.
Second.
No offense.
Aye.
Request approval to purchase a 2015 Ford Explorer off the state contract at a cost of $29,294.91. That's a motion.
This is for highways, the green truck. Died. It's dying on a very angry.
Sad day.
It's a sad day.
He must put a lot of miles on
It just, well, it does a lot of work.
it. Yeah.
You know.
That's a motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And then, last but not least, request approval to hold the annual Suffolk County Coalition Against Domestic Violence Pet Parade on Saturday, May 2nd, beginning at 9 a.m. with a rain date of May 9th. That's a motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Based upon the code that we passed earlier, we have to be following this out, was down the street.
Better not put it into the sewer system.
I was just
No,
gonna say,
but,
you
we're
know,
gonna
don't dump it in the...
we're gonna cover the streets with bamboo.
That's right. Do not put it in storm drains.
All right, storm, not sewers.
Right. Either.
Neither way.
Neither.
That's the way I read it, right?
Yes, that's how
Neither
it's
way.
sanitary. Yeah, that's what's doing it. Yeah.
Trustee Hilton.
Sewer things all right?
I'm done. You can't put dog poop in your own sewer.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. Trustees and guests. This weekend, this Sunday, is the Liz Cully 5K. Starting time is at 10:15. I'm changing the starting time 15 minutes because of the 10:15 ferry to Davis Park. So we're going to hold back 15 minutes because one of the major roads that are impacted is Cedar Avenue. So we're gonna hold back 15 minutes and then we're gonna start off the river. Should be a great run. This is 4th year, Patty? Yeah. So it's for a great cause, and I hope to see a lot of you there. We also need volunteers. Anybody has a little time on their hands, call the Parks and Recreation Office.
It's actually the 3rd year.
Think so? Yeah, okay, 3rd year. As David said, we are, Maria Justicia from the Parks and Recreation Department is working with New Village and having some events this fall and during the holiday season. Do you not see holiday season? And I'm really excited about the collaboration and being able to work on our projects. Moving along, I'd like to request approval to hire Valerie Sussman as volleyball director at a rate of $275 per month for the 2014-15 volleyball season, Monday through Thursday, September 2014 through April 2015. Valerie's been doing this
For 30 years, forever.
That and softball scorer
Forever.
forever. She does a fantastic job. It's a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, request approval to hire Daniel McBride, David McBride, and Brendan Colazzo as volleyball security at the rate of $8 an hour from September 2014 to April 2015. That salary will go up, of course, with the minimum wage. Right. Effective December 31st.
Motion. Second. All in favor? Aye.
That's all I have for tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Anything else for the board? Public to be heard.
Josephine Millis, 276 West Avenue. This is about the Patchogue Garden Club's community garden.
Yes.
The homeless are living there, they've been living there for a while. I won't speak for the club. Personally, I don't have a problem with you being there. Maybe you've seen they dry their laundry on the shrubbery. However, for the second time, they have moved the stone benches into the gazebo. My husband installed those benches many years ago. We thought quite securely. So it must have taken a couple of guys to pick it up. Now, I was talking to one of the homeless guys, and he claims that when the bars close, the young people come to the gazebo to continue drinking. John tells me that it's the homeless that are there who are drinking. Who knows? I'm really just asking if code could just go there and check on a regular basis.
You know, I got a call from Donald Felice just, I guess maybe Saturday, no, maybe Thursday, Friday of last week, talking about the same thing. He has development next door. And I know Al, I think Jimmy put something out on it.
Yeah, we have a memo on it. And the guys have been going through that.
You know, what I'll do is I'll have Joe Dean take a look at the bench and re-secure it.
I don't know how they got it up, but they did.
Amazing. You know, one of the things that we found just recently over the weekend is there was a community living along the tracks. You know, so, and just the Old Town Hall has been purchased. And that happened on, well, we met with the purchaser on Friday. So Town Hall, and actually that property that was almost 3/4 of the way down is town property. So he went yesterday and put no trespassing signs on the property. And I think Lou, the sergeant, and some PD guys went down. And I think many of the homeless that you see going into the garden are coming out of that group over there. So maybe we can move them along and solve another problem.
I have to be honest, I'm not so comfortable with them being evicted. I just want them to leave the benches.
No,
I'll speak for myself, the club may feel differently. I would just like the bench, you know, they shouldn't be moving the furniture around.
But see, part of the problem that Donald was having is that many of his residents go in, they'll stop in there, and then they, I don't want to use the word harassed, but uncomfortable.
Well, it's getting funky in that back corner, I agree.
Well, you're across the street.
Yeah, no, we see it. My office is right there, so that's a concern. One of the issues I wanted to address with Superintendent Dean was getting a lighting inside that gazebo at night. Because that is, I know it's a public safety concern, I spoke with Jim Berger about it. It is dark behind the gazebo itself and behind it, whereas our space is well lit, South Ocean is well lit, that space just behind Donald Felice's spot is very dark. So it's something that I have, I've spoken with Superintendent Dean about figuring out lighting for that.
You know, in the back of the garden shed is
Yeah.
a
That's
primary
spot.
location where people sleep.
Yep.
It's just a sad situation. I mean, it's just sad.
That area is
No, but it's not the first time I've heard it, unfortunately.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you. Anyone else?
Twice, okay.
And don't you put your hand up. You learned that in kindergarten also?
School teacher forever.
No, that's what you told me, put your hand up.
Well, now I want to talk about safety. I have been a volunteer for Meals on Wheels, and when I tried to go to these complexes, there's no big sign that says apartment, house number 1, building number 1, apartments 1 to 3. So when I am there in bad weather, there's a little sign that I can't read because my eyesight isn't that good and it's lit. I'm requesting that any multiple dwelling in the village have a sign visible from the street telling you what building it is and what apartments are there. This is necessary because of EMTs, doctor's visits, Meals on Wheels deliveries and everything else. That's one thing. You may have it on the book, but I haven't seen it. Also, I'm a big bug on numbers. I torture your numbers. I like to see numbers on the houses. I think that you give permits for building and reform, and I don't see anywhere that anyone's denied a CO because they don't have a house number visible from the street. I think this is something very important. It may be on the book, but it hasn't been enforced.
And have you seen that in the village? Examples in the village or outside the village?
No.
Well, some of the houses, really, I'm not too sure, but I don't think every house in the village has a number on it, but I
It is
have a
required.
proposal.
What about
Also,
with the condos real quick, is there anything that just on multifamily?
They're covered too. You have all buildings, each building used for business or dwelling purchase situated in the village shall be numbered. And it's very extensive in the way that what the requirement is. If your stoop is too far from the street, you have to have a gate post or a fence post. It's very, very specific.
Let's take a look at it and talk to you.
No less than 3 inches in height, and it's very specific.
well, I got hold of Ed Romaine because my granddaughter lives on the North Shore, and I am a driving hazard. I try to go over there to the store she's telling me, I can't find the blooming thing. I'm riding slowly on the side, holding up traffic. I think any, this is for the town, any multiple complex that has a shopping center should have a big visible sign. Montauk Highway, numbers 1 to 10, and the buildings should be numbered. Because people like me are a driving hazard, or my husband would say, an accident on the way to happening. Anyway, the other thing, which I gave Mr. Romaine too, and I think if you're going to have big parking lots, we don't have a problem here in Patchogue, but if you have big parking lots, you have the signs, Town Hall is the biggest offender in the universe. They have all kinds of parking. You come out at night, every car looks great, you don't know where the heck your car is. They have these big posts with light on them. There should be reflective lights with numbers on them, so that you can find your car. You park it on number 1 light pole, number 5, you can find your car. Anyway, street safety drives me crazy. When you guys were little kids, you might remember going to Safety Town. The police came, they made a little town for you, and you were the big shot. You had a car, you could drive, you stopped at the light, you know, you really had a wonderful time with it. It doesn't happen anymore. And what I see now with Twilight, I see groups of people walking on the wrong side of the street. They're wearing black. they're walking with traffic, and I'm driving, I could knock them right over and keep on going. There should be a concerted effort in the town, in Spanish and English and in the schools, to have people walk on the left side of the street, and as the old thing, wear white at night or light at night so we can see them. The other thing, I think that this could be a combination of the schools and the community. Having signs, having posters, teaching the children now that they must walk on the left, they must wear light at night. Particularly the people who come from other countries, they just don't understand. And when you're driving down the street at twilight or fog, you don't know where the heck they are, and they're wearing dark things. The other thing, bicycle safety.
Real quick, one of the things that we're looking at, schools to parks, sidewalk program, getting sidewalks to schools.
Which will be helpful.
Especially like in your block, Ryder Avenue.
Oh, Ryder Avenue is a nightmare.
And
Everybody's in the street all the time.
what we're looking to do is probably, unfortunately on the north side, on the east side, is to run sidewalks all the way from Main all the way to Avenue.
Yeah.
Because then the kids are on that side, if they're going to Bay Avenue. We have, and obviously looking to do the same thing on Bay Avenue, Cedar Avenue.
Yeah, I noticed in the paper that you have gotten a grant to have sidewalks, which I think is very important. But I think also the education should be there for the people. I was also thinking with house numbers, if they don't have them, the schools could get somebody like the Lions Club to give them a plaque and then have the art teachers teach them to write their numbers. They can bring it home and tack it up and it can be seen. The other thing is bicycle safety. Those little reflector lights moving with traffic are really not enough. Years ago, I got Bob Wallbauer to have a community thing, and we gave out reflective tape. Oh, you'd be laughing, Jackie, you got one, huh?
I remember, I had it on my bike.
That was my suggestion. We gave out reflective tape so that you would be driving, at least you could see their rear fender. Today, they don't have any fenders on, but there must be some kind of a way to give out a tape or something that can be put on the bike to be seen that's larger than that little red dot that you can't find in the fog. So maybe some community organization might sponsor a bicycle safety thing. Because
The recreation department had a
We
bicycle
have-
safety day.
We have bicycle safety at the camps every summer.
yeah, did you do anything about making the bikes more visible at night?
No.
Well, here we are. Okay.
Pilot Club does, one of our things is bicycle safety. We were just at the hospital and we give out reflective bands for the children to wear on their arm. It's about this thick on the arm, and we raffle off to the children helmets, and we push that.
That's fabulous. It should be expanded. What I see are mostly people who can't afford cars.
Any child.
And it's not children, it's the adult people that really make you nervous. So anyway, I just have to remind you guys, we taught you a little song. Red light, what do you mean? I mean wait till the light turns green. So,
Like laying on the
you
floor, picking it
remember
down.
this? Well, anyway, all right. Green light, what do you say? I say go, but look each way. Yellow light, what do you mean? Wait till the light turns green. And believe me, that little song and those little programs kind of stick with you. You kind of laugh, but when you come into a traffic light, it's up to you. Well, anyway, that's my plea for safety, for numbers, and for accessibility in case of emergencies. And God forbid any of us should run over anybody on a bike or walking on the street if we can do something to prevent it. That's it. I did get after Mr. Romaine. I wrote everything up. I got copies.
Give us copies.
I do my homework. So that's all I'm harassing you with today.
Thank you very much.
But I hope really that something does come of it, because as it gets dark at night here now, you're driving and your heart's in your mouth to start with, so, or at least mine is. Okay. These guys are laughing because I had them in school.
Homework, really.
And Brian, your mama was there with you.
Right, yep.
Okay, thank you.
It's always a pleasure to see you. Any other comments from the board? Okay, come on.
That's a great thing.
John Bogack, 8 Knoxon Street, and I want to agree with some of the comments about identifying buildings. I spent 25 years in the Department of Social Services in the Emergency Services Unit, which means that I was out looking for people, first person out. And I dreaded always going looking at condos and apartment house complexes because you can't find anything. So there's a practicality to what she's talking about, and good one too.
And I think the point, especially with emergency services, is tremendously important.
Yeah, I concur. It's not really a question, I want to go back in time a little bit, about a month ago when Mr. Kemp was here, well, he's not here tonight, but there was an issue about the finances of the theater. I don't know, but my capacity as the executive director of the Patchogue Village, this is open for open village government. How can I forget that? I did for a second. I took you up on your suggestion to him, which was to look at online resources for information about the theater. And actually, yesterday I posted what I've discovered so far on our website. I don't know if any of you have seen it at all. If you haven't, maybe you want to take a look at it, because I'm trying to make it as fair as possible about the issue of financing the theater. So there's video there, video about the theater board's appearance when they appeared in 2013, access to the Attorney General's site for information for tax records, an audit of the theater, and some other sources, some regarding yourself and other sources that I found. So it's a work in progress because it's not all completed, but I wanted to get out of this conflict that Mr. Kemp has had about getting the finances, and you have a position about things, and he has a position too, by actually providing some information that actually is there. So it's been posted. I just want to bring it to your attention and look at it. Any kind of feedback would be welcome. It's a work in progress, like parking.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
Any other comments from the public? Motion to adjourn?